I'm Shabnam Salehi, visiting fellow at the University of Ottawa. Before that, I used to be a Women's Rights Commissioner at the Afghanistan Independent Human Rights Commission. Beside that, I was a professor, assistant professor at the Kabul University Law Faculty. I was a women's rights and a human rights activist back in country. I did my bachelor in law, LLB, and after that, I did my master in public policy and public administration. From 2012, I am busy with the advocacy, women rights, human rights, and also policy reform and law reforms. Maybe most of the viewers know about the situation, what happened in Afghanistan. But as a someone who suffered from it, it's a different. In 2001, the Western Bloc come to Afghanistan, and they said there's a terrorist supporting regime. So we came to rescue the women of Afghanistan, and we came to rescue a human rights defender. And they built some kind of high wishes in the young generation, and the generation who left behind the school for almost 5 years. In 2001, we went back to school. We start to dream about future life, and we start a very somehow to imagine a new life where millions of girls attended schools, thousands of women went to work, and we have a woman in every part of the life. So life was going smoothly, even it was not ideal, but we have at least some laws who support women. So we have some institution like Ministry of Women Affairs. We have some institution like AHRC that myself are also working on that. We have some policies. We have some laws that supporting women rights. Besides that, still we have some cultural issue. We have a domestic violence issue. We have a different issues, but life was looks like good for women. But when Doha Agreement was signed in 2020 between the US and Taliban, and it was the turning point in Afghanistan recent history, because that's the we can only find the one or two example of that the superpower country come and sign an agreement with the terrorist group. The terrorist group that they themselves consider as a terrorist group, but they deal it as a state. They give us give it this group a protocol as a state, and this agreement was signed when the Afghanistan Republican was outside the door. They were not allowed to be part of the negotiation. From starting this day, February 2022, Black Day start for Afghanistan. First, U.S. government pressure the Afghanistan government to release at least 5,000 criminals from the jails, because it was a part of the deal with the Taliban. With the releasing this amount of the criminals, the rate of the crime inside the cities were become very high. Mostly the bombing and also assassination of the government employees. So that was the era when I was at Doha monitoring the peace talk, because we have a group of a small group of people who are in Doha monitoring peace talk from the human rights perspective. So my family told me, don't come, because I have already received a lot of the threat from the Taliban side. So after the spending some months in Doha, because when we want to meet the Taliban, we discuss about the women rights and human rights. They told us, we have an agreement with US. When our government establish, we will have a right, we will have some kind of the arrangement for the women rights. You don't need to worry. So they were very confident that they will have their own government, and they were not agree to have a discussion even with the Republican side. Even they consider as a, even though you are an independent organization, but they consider it as a part of the Republican, and they told us your administration, and they call it Kabul administration. So I back to country, and the risk of assassination was very high. So there was in 2020, there's a series of bomb blasts inside the country. And every morning when I left my home, and my mom told me, I'm not sure I will be come back alive. Life was going somehow. We have a wish that at least the situation will not be returned as 90s. But in the 2021, when the peace talk was somehow going, so that days, US banned the military financing Afghan forces. And that was a big shock for Afghan government because unfortunately we were totally rely on the Western aid. They supply the all logistic for the army and also for the special force. So that this time the hope lost for Afghan people, and the group who is more concerned, who have a lot of fear of women, because they faced Taliban in back in 90s. And every time that we asked Taliban, they told us, yeah, we will have a woman dress, frame of the Islam. But which frame of Islam? They don't even elaborate it. They just want to skip this question. So we know there is something coming. Even though in the Doha agreement integration, they told that we respect human rights, but we know that they are someone they will not fulfill their commitments. In August 2020, 2021, that was a month that most of the provinces of Afghanistan was filled to Taliban. But still, we have a hope because we think that capital or some main city will remain with Republican. We will have the space to somehow operate. But unfortunately, it was 15th of August. I was in office, and I even imagined that Taliban will come again. At the morning when I was leaving home, the road was somehow empty. I feel that something is happening because my father was military general and he faced two collapse of Kabul before. So I have this stories in my mind how the city will look when the collapse is coming. So I saw many people, they are running or they don't know to which way they go. I feel like they are some dizzy or some, even myself, I feel that I'm dreaming or I'm asleep. Since I have a lot of work to do, I was working on the national inquiry on the impact of conflict on women. So I have to arrange that meeting because it was with the UN women. I went to office. Most of our colleagues were uh, not at the office, but I feel that maybe I'm early, so they will join me later. It was around 11 that the email came that due to the security reason, we are not allowed to come to your office, so we will reschedule these meetings. After a half hour, I think my security team comes and tell me, please leave off because it's not secure anymore. And Taliban entered the four gate of the Kaaba. Our office was so near to the southern gate of the Kaaba, maybe 20 minutes. So they told me that it's better to leave your office. So I called my family, and at the same time, many calls come from my relatives and families and friends. Where are you? Please take care of yourself. The situation is not good. I left my office, and when I saw the city was totally different, the road was blocked and everyone was leaving their offices. The Kabul, the zone in which our office was located, there's a lot of other government offices. So the road was blocked because everyone was trying to escape the area. I thought because the situation may be get worse, it's better to go to bank and have some cash. When I told my driver to go to the bank, and from my office in my home, it was I think 10 kilometers, and it normally takes from 10 up to 15 minutes every day. But this day it took almost 5 hours. The road was blocked. Everyone was running. The car was on the road. Some people, they left their government cars because that was like a time bomb. And even I was advised by my bodyguards, leave the car because it's a government car and it's somehow alarming. But my driver told, you are my responsibility. I'm not going secure. And even I saw the Taliban in 10 or 15 meters away from my cars, they are raising their flags. And the situation was very shocking. I advised by my friends, please switch off your phone because they may be tracking. So the last call I called to my mom after 4.5 hours, I got to bank, and when I reached, there is a queue of the people who are waiting, and I told my driver, please take me home because it's not secure anymore. And the news are coming, the Taliban entered to this area. After 5 hours, I got home. My whole family was waiting. They all were very concerned about me. So at that time, I left my home and went to my uncle and aunt house because I feel that's not secure because Taliban knew me. I was at Doha. I have a meeting with them. They know about me because I'm at the certain area from Afghanistan, southern Afghanistan, that's controlled by Taliban. So they know me, who I am, and how I'm speaking in the media, especially when you are a feminist, you are talking about women's rights, and they easily consider you as an anti-religion, anti-Islamic, and they consider you are a spy of West because you are talking about the human rights, feminism, women rights issue that you are trying to destroy our religion or you are trying to destroy our culture. So I was quite aware what will happen to me. So I left my home and me and my family went back to my uncle and aunt's house. It was 15th of August. It was evening time. So at that time, I was not sure what will happen, but at that time, the news were coming that President escaped from Afghanistan and Taliban took control of Kabul. It was almost 9 p.m. so that Kabul is captured by the Taliban. So starting from this time up to 26th of August, that's the most difficult time of my life. I haven't slept. I hadn't eaten anything. What's the definition as isolation? This 12 day is isolation because I was concerned about myself. I was concerned about my family. In my family, we are 5 sisters. All were very active in government, and we were children of the late brigadier from the army. Everyone know who they are and in which area they are working on it. I was concerned about the achievement of long year that I worked. I was concerned about the women that I have worked for, especially the first step the Taliban have taken. They release all prisoners from the prisons, and I received dozens, maybe 100 or 1,000 messages from the women. The criminal go back to their homes and told their women that now it's our time. You will see. And everyone was messaging me, that will be our last message or text. So I was concerned about this, especially. I was concerned about the shelter homes that we were monitoring and we were running. I was concerned about the gains that we have somehow achieved in the last 2 decades. So that was total lost for us. The time difference is almost 11 hours between US, Canada, and our country. So all the night I was keep awake and messaging to our partners back in this country to evacuate our colleagues because we have a 400 plus colleagues and their job is very crucial and very sensitive. They all were working on the monitoring of prisons. Most of the prisoners of Taliban, they know my colleagues. They were working on the other sensitive areas that Taliban knows. Plus, that was not only Taliban, because when the collapse happened, a lot of other criminals were released also. They are looking for revenge. So in this situation, I kept awake all night, sending messages, emails, and coordinating with the Western partners. How can I find a way for the women, how can we find a way for our colleagues, for our family, and even myself? So I changed homes overnight. So on 20th of August, I received the evacuation letter from Canadian. Please come to airport. For 3 continuous days, we tried to the airport. I'm not sure how you are aware of the situation of airport, that many people died in airport because airport was crowded and no one allowed you to enter the airport. So I couldn't make it to airport. And I sent the email to Canadian, please escort me, because most of the European countries in America sent cars and buses in different parts in the cities, and they collect the people and they bring it to the airport. But Canadian don't have this kind of facilities. On 25th, 5th of August, that I also have an evacuation letter from the US, Belgium, and Germany. I was evacuated by the US, only me, because the US system was that the extended family are not part of the application. I didn't want to leave my family because I was very concerned for my sister and my family. And plus, even that will be really difficult for me to survive alone, especially in this traumatic situation. But my family forced me to leave because they told me that we are 80% concerned only because of you. When you leave, we will make it. So I left, and I was in the bus for almost 30 hours, and we go round, 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 and Taliban didn't allow us to the airport. And in this 30 hours, you don't have any access to food, to bathrooms. It was a very warm days in Kabul, plus 36 in Kabul, and we have a children in bus, and they were crying for the food. And when we reached to every door of the airport, there was firing by the Taliban. They were hitting people. So I tried to change my face because I have a fear. If Taliban recognize me, they will definitely kill me. They will keep me to not living Afghanistan. So I wear a long burqa and I cover my face. And at the same time, I try to enter the airport, and at the same time, I was very concerned for my security. So after the long 30 hours, we were able to enter the airport. And when we entered the airport, the security check was done by the US forces. Our group was evacuated by the organization. So they chartered a plane to Albania. And at that time, I don't know where I'm going, because in every 5 or 10 minutes, there's a plane in the sky, and then they are evacuating. And no one knows where they are going. When we sit in the plane, a big blast happened. The sound was very high. I haven't slept for so many nights back, and I couldn't hear anything. Alarm was start. Everyone was shouting, "Please shelter." So we were left the airplane and go back to the safe shelter inside the airport. And we were there for almost 3 hours. After that, I think it was 8 p.m. that our flight was ready. And when the flight take off, I just put out my clothes and put under my head, and I just slept. I don't know where I'm going. No, no clue where I are going. So I went to sleep. And at that time, when the plane, everyone was crying. Everyone there want to have something from their country. I have only one bag and with my computer, nothing, because in 3 days that we tried, even the human being was not allowed to cross the road to the airport, but we can't take any bag or anything. So I have only this bag with my computer, because I have to write it every time. So everyone was crying. After a few hours, maybe in Georgia, they land for the fuel. At that time, someone came and woke up me and told that we are in Georgia, please wake up. It was, I think, 3 a.m. we reached to Albania. And after reaching to Albania, I feel that no, I lost. I think, and that the feeling was very, 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 I can't explain. Some destroying me because it was total loss for me. I lost my career, I lost my gain, I lost my years of achievement, I lost my family, I lost my everything I have put for the women of Afghanistan. I lost our country, we lost our country, we lost our hope for a future. So after reaching Albania, after that, some of our colleagues went to USA, and I was very angry at that place because they left us alone. So I chose Canada, and I contact Canada that I'm coming. Took, I think, 1 month. They changed my evacuation letter to visa, but the election was in Canada, and because of this election, they don't want to bring the immigration. So I was there up to October. In October, I came to Canada. My family left Afghanistan on the 31 of August, the last flight of the evacuation with US. The military flight was fully full, but my family find a place, and we all left Afghanistan with the only clothes on that we have. And my family went to Bahrain, after that Kuwait, after that Italy, after that USA. And at the end of 2021, they came to Canada, and we. After coming to Canada, it was very difficult starting from scratch. You have put all your life to a career, to a study, but when you came to this country, and they told you are zero because you are nothing to us. So that feeling is another destroying feeling for me. So when I was talking to someone, they almost tell me, please change your career because you have work in the human rights issue, and the human rights issue in Afghanistan and Canada, they are totally different, and your experiences worth nothing. That advice almost killed me because I established myself in national international stage. I consider that I am someone, but starting from scratch and burning all the thing that I have in my life, it was very difficult. I reach out to different friends, and my friend in the Human Rights Watch, they connect me with University of. And fortunately, I got a fellowship, and that was sense of relief for me because I was connected to academia, I was connected to human rights, I was connected to activism, and that gave me a new life. Now I'm working as a visiting scholar at the University of Ottawa with the different centers. The one center that I'm working with is a Human Rights Educational Center. The other center is the Center for Graduate and Public Affairs. So now I'm more focused on the research. I'm doing research, conducting research on immigration issues. I have co-authored that chapter in the book about the Canadian policies toward the Afghan immigration immigrants. I also have a few articles more focused on the Afghanistan situation and why Canada and countries should help Afghan people. That's also related to the immigration. Plus, I'm writing on women's rights. I have a few articles on the different journals. So, one part of my activities conducting research. I also attend some classes like guest lecture and share my experience, years of human rights work in conflict, how we work. Beside that, most of my time is activism. We still operate in exile. And it was April 2022, Taliban dissolved the Afghanistan Independent Human Rights Commission, claiming that there's no need for human rights. But we, as a leadership board, we told that giving the Taliban are not a legitimate government, and the Afghanistan Independent Human Rights Commission was based on the Afghanistan Constitution and also based on the Paris Principles. So the Taliban are not at the position to dissolve the commission. So we still operate in exile. Every day we have a statement. Every day we have receive the reports from the violation. We document this violation and also collect the data. After that, we advocate and lobby for these cases on the international level and even at the national level. Beside that, I'm connecting with a different organization. I'm participating in the conferences, webinars, panels, doing advocacy for Afghanistan across the global. I'm a member of different parliamentarian group including the European Parliamentarian Group, Afghan Women Leader Forum, and also a focus group for Afghanistan, the Britain Parliament, and also a Canadian Parliament group, and I'm also a member of different forum that was forum for lobbying. I'm also working with them, participating in their event, and also the other part of my activism is working with the media, conducting interviews, and also giving them analysis about Afghanistan, especially on the human rights issue, women rights issue, and immigration issues. Canada bring a lot of people, but didn't try to integrate them in the society. That's very difficult. All my family, they have a credential from the different country, but as a lawyer, as a doctor, as an engineer, they have no path in Canada. So I think when we try to bring people, we should try to integrate them as well, especially in terms of the career. That's very difficult. That's not only my problem, that's maybe the million of the new immigrant, they face the same problem, especially in the medical. My brother is a doctor, and he have to think about new career, and all the 7 years of his study and training will be destroyed. So I think that's for Canadian. Also, as an activist in exile, I think there's a lot of challenges for activists in exile, especially when we come here, we lost our legitimacy back in country, and most of people talking that if you are capable